Essentials of Faith Alone. Part 2. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna states in his commentary on the 10 Bodhisattva stages: in practicing the Buddha way, there is a path of difficult practice, and a path of easy practice. The path of difficult practice is like going over land on foot. The easy path is like receiving a favorable wind upon the sea lanes. The difficult path consists in seeking to attain the stage of non-retrogression within the world of the 5 defilements. The easy path consists of being born in the Pure Land, by virtue of simply entrusting oneself to the Buddha. The difficult path is the gate of the path of sages. The easy path is the gate of the Pure Land. Thinking to myself, it seems that those who enter the Pure Land gate, and yet endeavor in various practices for birth, are like those who ride on a boat on the sea lanes, but not receiving favorable wind, push oars, and expend their strength, going against the tides, and forcing through the waves. In this gate of birth, through the Nembutsu, moreover, 2 practices are distinguished: single practice, and sundry practice. Single practice is to perform simply the one practice of the Nembutsu, awakening the aspiration for the land of bliss, and the faith of entrusting to the primal vow, never mixing any other practices whatsoever with it. To say the name of Amida only, and think wholeheartedly on this one Buddha, never upholding other formulas, or thinking on other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, is called single practice. Sundry practice, while taking the Nembutsu as primary, places other practices alongside it, and includes other forms of good acts. Of these 2, single practice is to be considered superior. The reason is as follows. If one already aspires wholeheartedly for the land of bliss, why include other things besides contemplating on the master of that land? Life is like a flash of lightning, or a dewdrop at daybreak, and the body like the plantain tree, or a bubble, yet one seeks in a mere lifetime of religious practice to depart immediately from one's long abode in the 5 courses. How can one leisurely combine diverse practices for securing spiritual bonds with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? One must await the morn, when one can make offerings to the Buddhas as one wishes. For the essential principles of the Mahayana and Hinayana scriptures, one must await the eve, when all the teachings will be illuminated. Aside from aspiring for the one land, and thinking on the one Buddha, there is no other necessity. People who enter the gate of the Nembutsu, but combine it with other practices, are attached to their former practices, and have difficulty abandoning them. Those who hold to the one vehicle, or practice the 3 mystic acts, do not change their aspiration to attain birth in the Pure Land, by directing the merits of such practices, wondering what can be wrong with pursuing them together with the Nembutsu. Without endeavoring in the Nembutsu of easy practice that accords with the primal vow, meaningless is it to follow various practices rejected by the primal vow. Thus, Master Shinran declared, among those who abandon the single practice and incline toward the sundry, not 1 in 1,000 can be born. Among those of single practice, 100 in 100, 1,000 in 1,000 can be born. It is said, the land of bliss is the realm of nirvana, the uncreated. I fear it is hard to be born there by doing sundry good acts according to our diverse conditions. Hence, the Tathagata selected the essential Dharma, instructing beings to say Amida's name with singleness against singleness. That which is rejected as various good acts done according to one's conditions is the attachment to one's own former practice. In serving as a retainer, for example, one should serve one's Lord, depend on Him, and wholeheartedly be loyal to Him. However, suppose a person, while evidently serving his Lord, in addition harbors designs concerning an unfamiliar, distant person, and, arranging to have him meet his Lord, seeks to be well spoken of by him. Compared with serving directly, which is superior, and which inferior, is clearly known. Being of two minds, and being of one mind, are as vastly different as heaven and earth. Concerning this, someone asks, suppose there is a person who practices the Nembutsu, reciting it 10,000 times each day, and aside from that, does nothing but play all day and sleep all night. And another person who says it 10,000 times, and afterwards reads sutras, and recites the names of other Buddhas. Which is superior? In the Lotus Sutra is the phrase, by virtue of this sutra, one is born in the land of peace. Can reading this sutra be the same as playing and frolicking? In the Yakashi Sutra is found the guidance of 8 bodhisattvas. Thinking on Yakashi Buddha is surely not like useless sleep. I still cannot understand praising one as single practice, and rejecting the other as sundry practice. In considering this matter over again now, single practice is still superior. The reason is that we are essentially foolish beings of this defiled world who experience obstacles in everything. Amida, observing this, taught the path of easy practice. One who plays and frolics all day is a person of great distraction and confusion. One who sleeps the whole night is a person of great lethargy. All are consequences of blind passions, difficult to sunder, and difficult to control. When playing has ended, say the Nembutsu. When awakening from sleep, recall the primal vow. This does not violate the performance of single practice. To recite the Nembutsu 10,000 times, and afterward hold in mind other sutras and other Buddhas, seems splendid upon first hearing. But who determined that the Nembutsu should be limited to 10,000 times? If you are a person of diligence, then recite all day. If you take up the Nyanju beads, then utter the name of Amida. If you face an object of worship, then choose the image of Amida. Directly await Amida's coming. Why depend on the 8 bodhisattvas to direct your way? You should rely solely on the guidance of the primal vow. Do not struggle to undertake the exercises of the one vehicle, Dendai. In the capacities of Nembutsu practitioners, there are the superior, the ordinary, and the inferior. Those of superior nature constantly say the Nembutsu, both night and day. In what interval, then, can they turn their attention to other Buddhas? You should reflect on this deeply, and not become entangled in distracting doubts.